Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NCAA 2004 in the Alabama Crimson Tide Dynasty mode, and we are kicking off year number 16. That's right, year 16 of 17. We are winding down, as I keep saying. But today we do have a somewhat, I wanted this game to be a little bit more than it was. This is kind of like the Indiana game that I scheduled a couple seasons ago, I think in year 13 or 14, because Indiana was an upstart kind of team that had a good season, but lost a lot of the pieces that made them good heading into the following season when we played them, so they really weren't the team that I thought they would be. And UCLA's in a similar position. They don't have a lot of returning faces on their roster. The receiving core is completely rebuilt. They have a freshman quarterback who's never thrown before. And we are in a similar situation, except our quarterback isn't a freshman. He's a redshirt senior who has never seen the field before. So we both have quarterbacks making their debuts for their respective teams here as starters. But ours has at least been around, Sicknaben and in this offense for about 4 full seasons now. And whereas UCLA's Isaac McCown is a brand new face here on the Bruins roster. So this might not be as close of a game as I initially once anticipated, even though UCLA has been one of the better programs in this series up to date. So we haven't talked too much about UCLA because they haven't really achieved much, but they've always had good teams. It's kind of I guess similar to like South Carolina, whereas South Carolina, in the last handful of years started to winning games or start getting to conference championships and stuff like that. But UCLA has only won the Pac-12 twice, or Pac-10 twice. So they won it last season, and that was the first time since year 2 that they actually won the Pac-10. So they've really just kind of been living in USC's shadow for this entire series. And it has availed them not much. They've typically finished ranked higher than USC does, which I find very interesting, just because of how bowl wins and losses, kind of stack up. But they never win the Pac-10, so that's just an interesting thing to note here. We're going to get into the action. We had some trick plays, some reversals back and forth here, getting us a first down, and now Garrett Handy showing off what he can do with his very own arm, without the trickery involved. So fast forward to 2nd and 11, and now we're going to get Tremaine Moultrie, the running back, the new starting running back that we also have, because we are also changing a face at the running back position. We've had some running back turnover every season. That seems to happen a lot to me. I recruit running backs in mass, and then they all end up graduating around the same time or within a year of each other, and you just kind of one after the other. And we were doing that with strong safety too, until there was no one left to replace. There was no one left to come up, and it was just Josh Mann, who was like a 66 overall, but we've made a change there as well, as we already saw in the previous video. This is a newer team in some regards, in some aspects. There's not a ton of returning talent. We have a lot on both lines. Our defensive ends and a lot of our offensive line are all returning seniors, or seniors who are finally starting. So there's a lot of returning talent in that regard. We do have some older pieces at receiver, you know what I mean, and Jeff Dillard, of course, our tight end is a senior, and Donaldson, the tight end behind him, who's also an 89, he's a senior. So we probably won't even get to use him on the team. He's just going to be gone probably. And then, of course, we have Freeman Frederick, who's stepping in after Jamal Sharp's graduation at fullback, but he's already a senior as well. So this might be the very last year that we have to go completely all in with our core, because we might be doing a lot of rebuilding after this season as UCLA attempts a fake field goal, which we already know in this game I don't know why teams do it. I think out of all the times we've seen it attempted, it's worked once, twice, maybe, out of the 10 or 15 times it's been tried over the 16 seasons here, or 15 full seasons rather. But, so we may be doing a lot of rebuilding after this season, which I don't know if we'll have it in us. Year 17 might just be a wash. I hope not, but, who knows? We'll see where this team goes. We obviously have talent still on the roster. The cornerback position is still incredibly deep. Defensive tackle is probably a year away. We've got a couple of guys who are in the high 70s, and I think after this season, they'll probably all trend upwards into the 80s overall-wise, and we could probably, live with that. The safety position, I think, is still probably going to be decent, too. One of them, maybe not both of them, but one of them. The receiving core is probably going to have to be completely rebuilt, too. I'm already anticipating Ben Medley to graduate after the season if he has another massive season. Now, remember, he already has, 2,000-plus yard seasons of receiving. Last year, he won the Receiver of the Year award, and so I think he's already NFL ready, and he probably will leave after the season if he has another big season, which I'm projecting that he does. And then Chip Milligan is also on the way out as well. And then Evan Jacobs, who just had a catch in this game, as you saw on screen, he's also a senior, and he's developed pretty nicely. He just has kind of, and he's kind of the fourth man out, or the odd man out of our receiving core now, currently as it sits. So we're going to be losing 3 of our top 4 receivers after this season, most likely. Also, Kendall Owens, who's now kicking a field goal, he's going to be gone. So we're going to be losing our kicker as well. There's a lot of pieces that we're going to be losing. So this team, as much as I wanted to convince myself that it's not, that it's a lot of new faces, it isn't, man. We have a lot of returning talent, a lot of older guys who are finally getting on the field and starting. So we have a team that I think could probably still go for another national title again this season, which I was worried about. I didn't know if we would, but we didn't lose a ton last season, and the pieces that we did, I think we were able to replace them pretty well. So as you can see, we're already kind of handling business right now in the Rose Bowl against the Bruins as Handy floats one up to the end zone, and that pass is going to be caught by Reeves, and so we were still able to move effectively on offense. Last season we were starting to see a lot of that potency just running with Khaled Lumpkin that we were kind of missing in the years between with Dre Gates and Ernest Slaughter. And we finally found some continuity last season, and we're able to score a lot more consistently. And hopefully Handy can slide in as a senior and provide that same level of consistency on offense. And our defense was also really strong last year. I didn't really focus too much on our defense. And of course, as I say that, Theo Thornton gets himself an interception in this game here. And now our defense is checking in because they heard their names called. But our defense was really effective last year. It was actually really nice. And a lot of the big games that we had, our defense was really like the marquee thing. Our offense would kind of grind out the points here, and our defense would hold them to less than 20 a lot of times. So, that was a big part of this. And I think if we can play a similar style of football this season, I think we can easily go for another national title. Win it, I don't know, but go for it, absolutely. So we need to lock in and just win the games this year, of course. And UCLA is already making that pretty easy here as Chip Milligan gets another reception. There you can see the receiving breakdown on screen. So Chip Milligan's already been kind of the top dog in this offense, but still on a 3rd and 21, it's not going to be enough for a first down. So on 4th and 6, bring out Kendall Owens for a very, very long field goal, and he nails it through. So Kendall Owens has probably been the best kicker we've had here in Tuscaloosa. All 4 seasons, he's had a kicking percentage over 85%. I think 86 is his lowest. So, happy about that. We will certainly take that as our lead extends to 27-0 over the Bruins. And now on the kickoff return here, on the punt return, it's actually going to get fumbled, and UCLA is probably going to get their best opportunity to even score points late in this ball game here as the 4th quarter is already coming to a close. We haven't really focused on the game because this game is kind of a blowout. I figured I'd take the video to just talk about our roster and talk about this season and the last season, which is going to be next season, year 17. So kind of try and lay out and map out exactly what we're expecting for this roster and what could happen potentially next season. So we already have some good pieces in place. I want to talk about quarterback because the depth at quarterback is all freshmen. So we have Matt Bishop, who's currently behind Garrett Handy, who's a redshirt freshman. So he sat last year, and now he's active this season. And I doubt we might see him in blowouts. I don't know, but we probably won't see him as a starter. But considering the fact, and I think the quarterback behind him is also a freshman, so we have 2 very young quarterbacks, 5-stars, of course, sitting behind Garrett Handy waiting. So I don't think we'll struggle at quarterback, but it's building elsewhere, like the receiving core, how we replace the offensive line and stuff, and some of those big defensive pieces. Our linebacking core is still pretty young. We're going to lose Bam Price, who our left outside linebacker is up to a 99, probably the best player on the team, really, in terms of overall and stats. But we'll be losing him. But everyone else, we have a lot of juniors on the defense still, so I think we should be able to hold the roster at least enough together for a good run in year 17. Now, remember, I'm trying to win natties in this year and next year to try and beat Nick Saban's total of 6, but as long as we at least make 6, I think it'll be okay. But we still would like to end the series on a high note in year 17, of course, so trying to think about how this roster might work out and then what kind of roster we can expect to see next season. But that's still a while away, man. We still have a whole 12 games to get through. Hopefully at least 14 if we can manage to win the national title, and of course the SEC as well. So, but that's what we're going to look at. And after a huge game here in LA, in Pasadena, I guess technically, because that's where the Rose Bowl is, but it's UCLA. I don't know. You guys get it. You know what I'm talking about. But a huge game against the Bruins here. We pick up a huge win against the Pac-10. I don't know what our record is against conference opponents. I am going to figure out all that math and try and get as many obscure stats as I can for the finale video whenever that comes out. But we still have a while to go again. So coming out back in our out-of-conference schedule, or I guess not out-of-conference, but our out-of-conference game against Cincinnati, we win big, and then, of course, we kill Kentucky. And I'm pretty sure that losing streak, I'm going to show it, that losing streak, 28 games. Kentucky's got a losing streak that extends 3 seasons now. Or this is the 4th season in which they have not won a game in. So they lost the last game of year 13, and then lost all of year 14 and all of year 15, and now in year 16 they've started off with 3 losses. So that's, 4 seasons they have not won a game. So, but Wisconsin pulls up a huge upset over West Virginia. Once again, the Mountaineers just find themselves falling short early in the year and squashing all of their hopes and dreams. And Nebraska gives us a huge favor and picks up a win against Arkansas. Huge murders row. And look at this. In the very following week, Arkansas picks up a huge win against Virginia Tech. So what kind of schedule did Arkansas schedule, man? Why would they do that to themselves? That's absolute insanity. I don't know why they would even choose to do that, but hey, Arkansas loses a big one against a Big 12 opponent and then picks up a massive one against a Big East opponent. So big ups to the Razorbacks for even going for that, and they got us in a couple weeks the number 1 team in the nation. So, but we got to get through Temple first up in Philadelphia. So hope to see you guys in that next one when we play the Owls here. It's our yearly fun game against a bad team in a small market. So hope to see you guys there.